of course, you're working a 9 to 5. Maybe, that's not what you wanted to do as a kid or whatever. But what are you doing during your 9 to 5, or before your 9 to 5, or after your 9 to 5, that is getting you to that point of the dream life that you journal about, that you think about, that you manifest, right? Holy shit, it's so cold that there's ice on my car window. Look at this. That's kind of crazy. This is all about morning routine, but listen, I've done morning routines in the past. I've done videos like that, but let me just preface by saying I'm fully aware that my job is very unique. I film as my job. I create content. I do reactions, right? So I know that I have the luxury of making my own schedule and things like that. And so what I want you to do, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I don't have the luxury of doing X, Y, and Z in the morning and taking my time and journaling and all this stuff, I want you to do two things. One is ask yourself, is it at all possible to wake up earlier to get some of this stuff done? Okay, and the answer to that might be no. You might have kids, you might just have shit you gotta do, and I get that. So if that's the case, anything that I'm gonna discuss, I would say find other times in the day to do these things. I definitely prefer and encourage you to try to figure out if there's a way to get it done first thing in the morning. However, sometimes it's not the case. So we're about to head to a coffee shop right now. Every morning I do take Magic Mind. It's a mental performance shot. You guys, if you've watched my channel long enough, you know I take this every single day. I'm approaching a year now of taking this every single day. I don't work with brands, right? I don't work with a lot of brands. Only brands that I use their product and I really, really think that this can help people and impact people in a positive way. And for me, it gives me clarity, focus. It prevents midday crashes. I used to take a lot of naps. I used to feel way more groggy than I do, but this has been helping me for the past year. So I take this every morning. Okay, so this is part of my morning routine. And I have a code in the description below. If you do want to check out and get a discount off your first purchase, use code JAXN. The code will be down below, but try it out if you want. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more in your day, a little bit more focus, a little bit more energy, if you will. Now that the car's warmed up a little bit, so every morning I do my skincare routine. That's all like normal stuff. I take my Magic Mind, brush my teeth. Sure, we all can agree, like, all right, we have our physical and just daily habits. What this video is going to be more about is a morning routine that I've discovered. This isn't rocket science. This isn't groundbreaking stuff. This isn't stuff that I've just invented, okay? But I watch a lot of podcasts and I do a lot of studying and research on efficiency and optimal, habits and daily habits and routines. And, I don't know. I think our generation is kind of kind of overly obsessed with that shit, if I'm being honest, but I'm one of those people. So what I have found through a lot of my discovery is that our brains, our ability to solve the hardest problems in our day is at its peak in the mornings. I'm not saying right when you wake up you're like thinking, sharper than you do any other time of the day. But what I'm saying is I have this belief, and it is backed by research that I found and podcasts and successful people that I've talked to and listened to. Taking care of the most tedious and difficult stuff in the morning is going to be the best thing you can do. Okay, so for me, because I create content, I film, and by film I mean I sit in front of a camera and react to shows, primarily anime. I have two different channels that I'm managing right now, or running, or a part of. I'm filming on average about 4 hours a day. Just on average, like roughly 4 hours a day. But as you can imagine, filming doesn't necessarily take a whole lot of brain power. Instead, what it takes is just energy and focus, and just making sure that, I have energy, I'm in a good mood. That's really all you need for filming, okay? Now, a misconception is people think that that's all my job is. Like, all I have to do is film. That is about, I would say it's about half of my job, okay? The other half, which you might not believe is like a requirement for success on YouTube, but it's all the other things. So what I'm about to do right now, which you're going to go see, is kind of the rest of like what I use my brain power, that like tackling the hardest stuff first thing in the morning, like the biggest problems. That's what I'm about to go do right now. I just got to the coffee shop, so let's go fucking do that. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I throw on frequencies, manifestation frequencies, just something I like to do. And then I go look at this dope ass background, by the way. Now, I like to start my morning with journaling. You guys know that. And so I use this app called GoodNotes. I showed this, and I have a whole video on journaling, so it won't be all about journaling, but I'm gonna write down my affirmations, what I'm grateful for, what I'm looking forward to. I start my day with this, right? Okay, this is check one. Let me knock this out, and then I'll talk about some of the other stuff. Oh, I love me. Look at this. Look at that. Coffee gives me something to look forward to in the mornings. Okay, so just got done journaling. I can't express to you guys the impact, I would say the impact that journaling has had on my life. And I just encourage you guys all to try it. It's simple. Just write what your goals are. Write those down. Write what you're looking forward to. And it forces you to think in a positive mindset versus waking up and thinking about the problems that we have, the lack thereof, right? Like lacking money, lacking health, lacking relationships, lacking whatever. Our brains a lot of the times are wired to think that way, but journaling helps you, it forces you to focus on other things. So journaling's done. So now for about 2 hours, I'm gonna do what I like to call the busy work. And this is more the point of this video. For me, my busy work is I usually have about anywhere from 20 to 50 messages to respond to from Patreon, right? And that's just for Rice and Ginger, my main channel. My other main channel, Identical Reactions, we are also launching a Patreon because we're reacting to a lot of big shows, so we're starting to get traction. So that's already starting to have 5 to 10 DMs. That is more just stuff. I'm huge on making sure, I'm going to put so much effort into making sure the people that are supporting us on Patreon always have contact with us, always feel that we're listening and reading. So I read all the DMs and respond within 24 hours. So I do that in the mornings, and then I go through all the comments of all of our videos. And a lot of those I'll just heart, I'll read and heart. I comment when I feel necessary. But that's a lot of the busy work for me. Then there's a lot of other things, right? I created what's called the Reaction Channel Academy, where I teach others to do what I do. And so that has its own community, messages, planning. I have 2 to 3 meetings a week for that are an hour plus. I'm also reviewing channels constantly. I'm helping other channels out by looking at their thumbnails and giving them examples of what to do, what not to do. Anyways, it's all this, like, what I like to say, busy work versus the other part of my work, which is just sitting in front of a camera. The mornings are going to be where I want to do the busy work. And so for you, I don't know what that is, right? I worked in corporate for 10 years before doing YouTube full time. And I know that in a lot of jobs, there are things that are harder, that are required in your job or your day, that is harder than other things. My advice to you is, and what has been working for me, where I feel actually satisfied and accomplished and happy, is doing the things that require the most brain power, energy, whatever it is for you. Tackle those first, okay? And if you get in the habit of doing them first, getting them out of the way, and again, for you, who knows what it could be? We all have different lives. But look at take a step back and look at your life and go, all right, I have a 9 to 5. In my 9 to 5, the part of my job that I dislike the most, or that's the most challenging, or requires the most, whatever. If there's a way, do that first. Maybe it's not your 9 to 5. Maybe your 9 to 5 is so chill, you don't do anything. It's like, oh my God, I just sit here, I'm just like at a desk or whatever. Maybe it's other stuff. Maybe it's, okay, if that's the case, then maybe the hard part for you is going to the fucking gym, because I know it's hard. And a lot of times when you get off of work, you're tired. You don't want to go to the gym. Do that first. If it's building a business, if it's starting a YouTube channel, do your editing in the mornings. Okay? When I started my YouTube channels, for me, I did it after work from anywhere from 6 to midnight most days while I was getting my first few YouTube channels off the ground. I wish I would have started these habits sooner, and I wish I would have been doing it in the mornings, because at the end of the day, what is that saying? There's a saying, 80% of your results come from 20% of your work, something like that. And so you want to focus on that 20%. So 20% of what you do every day nets 80% of like what you bring in, right? Focus on that 20%. So for me, I had this 9 to 5 job, but I knew I wanted to be a YouTuber. Okay, if that's the case, yeah, I need to do enough to not get fired. But I know I don't want to work this job forever. So I need to be dedicating that first block of my day where I feel I have the most manpower, brain power, manpower, energy to YouTube them. Because if YouTube's my goal, that's where my energy needs to be. So for you, what is your goal? Okay, you journaled. What does your life look like in 5 years? 10 years? Okay, now that you know what it looks like, how do you get there? Now, whatever the answer is to that question, you do those early. I mean, that's it. Like, it's pretty simple. This isn't like I said, I didn't reinvent anything. This isn't anything that you've never heard of. However, I've been doing this now for a while, and there's weeks and times where I just feel like I'm just going through the motions and it doesn't feel great. Since I've been doing this, no matter what, how my day unfolds, I feel productive, I feel accomplished. And not only that, I know that I'm building towards the future that I want. With that said, I got about 2 hours of busy work that I need to get done right now before I go back and start filming with Michelle, so let's fucking do it. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's get it. All right, so it's been about 2 hours at the coffee shop. I am now heading home. I got some coffee to bring to my wife, and we have about an hour and a half of filming, and then I have about an hour and a half of filming with my brother, and then then I'm streaming today for 2 hours on Twitch, and then I have an hour meeting for Reaction Channel Academy. So today is definitely a busy day, but it's like, dude, I'm working on all the things that are like working towards my dream, basically. So I'm energized, I'm motivated, I feel so good about, I think if where us as humans start getting fucking in trouble is when we're spending majority of our days doing shit that isn't progressing us like towards our dream life, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say you need to enjoy what you do every day, or because the reality is a lot of us gotta work jobs just to pay the bills, and that's totally fine. And I think what I'm realizing is it's less about, spending as much time on your passion, and it's more making sure that you're spending a large amount of your time at least building towards your dream life, right? Of course, you're working a 9-to-5. Maybe, that's not what you wanted to do as a kid or whatever. But what are you doing during your 9-to-5, or before your 9-to-5, or after your 9-to-5, that is getting you to that point of the dream life that you journal about, that you think about, that you manifest, right? So that's why for me, I'm so energized, and it's okay that I'm super fucking busy, because it's all like adding up to the collective of where my life is going to be in 5 fucking years. And it's because of all the things that I'm doing now. So anyways, all right, this vlog's going to be kind of crazy. Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you guys. I forgot to update you guys. So I ran a half marathon this weekend. Sore as shit. I went into it with 2 goals: to complete it and to not injure myself. I don't think I injured myself completely, but it's hard for me to walk right now. I ended up running about 7 miles, and my knees were just killing me for about 3 of those 7 miles, but I kept trying to just push through it. And eventually it's like 7.5 miles. I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk because my knees hurt so bad. I'm just going to walk for a little bit, and then I'll walk, run to finish it out. Well, that was a bad idea, because as soon as I started walking, I don't know how long I walked, probably for like 5 minutes. Then I was like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to go. And as soon as I started running again, the pain was like 10 times worse. And I was like, oh shit, I don't think I should have even stopped. And so I basically walked the last almost 5 miles. Like I kept trying a little bit. But anyways, I finished. I got my medal. If you saw on Instagram, I posted it. I did a whole thing on that. So I feel good that I finished it, but I'll be honest, I don't think I'm gonna run again. Like for that purpose. I think I prefer biking. I still am a huge advocate for doing cardio, making sure cardio and that's incorporated in kind of my life, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. My mind always changes with shit like this, with like running and all that stuff. But as of right now, yeah, I'm definitely kind of excited to not have a race on my mind. And I want to focus on diet, working out, biking, yoga, and then all the other shit that I have going on. All right. I just got to the Airbnb and yeah. So this is where the filming and the streaming is gonna be. So I'm basically gonna be here for the rest of the day. Question mark? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have time to go to the gym, but maybe I will. I don't know. Thank you for loving me no matter what, boo. Appreciate it. But super excited because this is the last few days that we're going to be spending here in the Airbnb. We're so ready to get back home. The walls are painted. It's a new vibe. Just going to be so dope to get back into a routine of being at home. But for now, the morning continues. It is 11:20, and I do got to snack on something real quick before we film. Well, let's go. Let's get after it. A lot of the busy work is done, so I already feel accomplished. Now it's just content creation, which is sick. All right.